Well, the WASDE came out back on Thursday, and Kim, was there any earth-shaking news in the WASDE report?
I don't think there was any earth-shaking news. There was some news. You look at the world on wheat, Australia, Ukraine, Pakistan, all lower production, exporting countries. So we've talked about that in the past. No change in Russian wheat production. We'd like to see that go down, but you know, we'll take steady. However, there was increased production in other minor countries, which had a total increase in world production and slightly higher world ending stocks. That's not good news. Essentially, no change in the U.S. wheat, slightly lower exports, but for the most part, just not much change in the U.S. You look at corn in the U.S., they lowered corn production and ending stocks. Lowered that from 1.8 billion to 1.74 billion bushels. Soybeans, just more bad news for that. They did lower the yields just a little bit, but they also lowered exports, and they increased soybean ending stocks from 885 million bushels to 955 million. So if you had to grade it, you'd say marginally negative news for essentially all markets.
Now back to wheat. We really haven't seen much movement in the price of wheat here lately. Is that seasonal or what's playing into that?
Well, it's just the weak export markets. We've talked about it. We just don't have the export demand that we've had in the past. You go back to mid-August, September. Since that time range, we've lost $1.15 on the board. We lost another 15 cents on the basis. You look at that KC December contract, it's wallering around between 485 and 510, and just not much movement there. And you know, that slightly lower 15-cent basis, I think that's not good news, but it's getting back to where we had expected to be. You can look at forward contracting wheat for 19 delivery. The basis is about a minus 40 cents, and you're looking around $5 and a nickel for that.
One of the other commodities that's kind of been close to, well, moves with wheat in the past has been corn. Where are we with corn?
Well, I think corn and wheat, they may be moving together a little bit, but mostly I believe they're divorced right now. You look at corn on that futures contract, it's been trading between 343, 375, low, relatively low there. You look at the support at 340, so if it goes below that, it'll go down. Resistance at 385. It's just wallowing around. They did lower the harvest just a little bit, and I think that's positive, and so we could see that coming out.
Earlier you talked about the lower expectations for soybeans. What's that do for prices?
Well, I mean, they're just not good news for soybeans, and soybean prices have been moving sideways. I'll think about all the negative news. We did get some news this week that China may be able to back off imports for Brazil to get their second crop in there, and that would be even less demand. USDA is talking about the export demand for U.S. beans, rather than being like China normally buys up front. China's not buying, but other countries are, so it's going to be spread throughout the years, which means our prices are just going to waller around and maybe start inching them way up, but just not much news in the soybean market.
Okay, thank you much, Kim Anderson, grain marketing specialist here at Oklahoma State University.